What's going on, guys? The Arid Lord is here. Welcome back to another Walking Dead vlog. We're reviewing episode 3 of season 11. This is an early review because of the AMC Plus thing, which I am subscribed to for this season, so just be warned. The title of this episode is Hunted, and basically it picks right up where the second episode left off, where the Reapers attack the group on the road. And yeah, so basically that's what's going on. And man, where do I start? I don't know. It felt very similar to the previous two episodes. Let me just say that. All right. They're going for the horror vibe again. It's yet another episode that takes place in enclosed space, very much like the subway train tunnel. We have Maggie in this abandoned shopping mall kind of place, and the Reapers, it goes from night to day, and obviously they get attacked at night from the end of the last episode, and she's run away, and she runs inside this shopping mall, and she's setting traps to hear these guys, and there is one cool kind of like jump scare thing where like she lights her match, and the guy's spooky kind of Saw mask is right behind her. I mean, these guys look like they could be out of a horror, Halloween flick. They're very extra. I mean, I get it that like in the apocalypse you'd have these kind of wacky clans and stuff, but yeah, they're very extra. We don't know anything about them other than they just randomly wanted to attack Maggie and just kill, just try to kill her on the road. It's not really clear what they want, who they are, why they were chasing her, what they were doing at her place. So then she gets attacked. Alden ends up hiding in the same place, and so he gets attacked. And then Negan ends up sort of saving Maggie as she wrestles with one of the guys, and then Alden gets stabbed actually, so he's limping for much of the journey as they make their way out. Again, keep in mind that the whole purpose behind these past 3 episodes has been food. They're just trying to get a large supply cache of food at some radio tower, because as we know from the finale, Alexandria was kind of decimated. Beta and the Reapers, or not Beta and the Reapers, holy shit, Beta and the Whisperers. I'm getting all my fucking villains mixed up. Beta and the Whisperers, yes, that amazing group of villains that we no longer have anymore, stomped through and kind of just made a mess of things, and so now they're trying to pick up the pieces, not to mention that the hilltop was lost. I haven't really gotten into this season yet. I'm just kind of going to go out and say that right now. I don't know what they're doing. I'm just going to be quite honest. Like, I was watching this episode and I was like, why do I feel so bored watching this? Like, I don't know why I was just so uninterested. Now, again, there were some interesting things. I liked seeing the dynamic between Herschel Jr. and Judith, which is cool because those are children of some of our most famous characters, and, seeing them interact is interesting, just to have, even just fleeting conversation. Again, some of the jump scare stuff with the Reapers inside that shopping mall, like, there were, some cool filming techniques that were used for that. There were a couple of jokes that Negan was cracking as he was trying to understand Maggie's logic of her plan. Because another thing that's frustrating me with this is that Maggie, like, she's full of such anger. She's angry that she was driven away from where she was, either by having to help the communities with their Whisperer problem, or the fact that these Reapers destroyed whatever, I forget the name of the place that she was with Georgie at, but they destroyed it. And now they're on their way, and they followed her all the way here. That's why the Reapers are here in the first place. But she just seems just so, like, that speech from the last episode where she talked about the guy who had all of the women in the house. Like, it's just so, there's just this darkness that's just taken hold in her. And she's just this shell of the person that we once knew. Like, and I guess this has been the case with her character since, really, if you think about it, those intro episodes of season 9, her whole, it was very, I feel like everything that she felt from the beginning of season 9 has very much carried over now, because that was the start of Negan being in prison. Like, ever since Rick made that decision to put Negan in jail, I feel like Maggie felt that she had something stolen for her, and what that was her vengeance. She wanted vengeance for Glenn's death, as we know, and ever since Rick made that decision in the name of Carl, she's felt slighted. And obviously there was the moment where Negan kind of had that breakdown and Maggie let him live, but I just feel like ever since she made that decision and then the time jump happened, she wasn't around, and she comes back and she's just acting more of the same. Like, I just don't feel like there's a lot of progress in terms of her feelings. Like, it's little baby steps, like letting him have weapons, slowly conversing with him on strategies, but she's still very, like, uppity. Like, I know the right path. Like for example, like, they're walking on the road. Alden is limping, can barely walk, and Negan's like, maybe we shouldn't be on the road. Maybe we should go in the woods because these guys, caught us on the road before, and, that was a mistake. And Maggie's just being incessant until Alden's like, oh yeah, I actually have to stop. And then they go to this abandoned church, and then she makes a very difficult decision to leave Alden behind. He didn't die, but they just leave him behind in this abandoned church so that Maggie and Negan can continue the quest of getting these supplies. And again, it goes back and forth on her decision making, and Negan looks like he wants to comment on it, but doesn't want to overstep his boundaries. But, like, again, I feel like there's not a lot of progress being made. It just feels like they keep spinning their wheels on the same couple of plot points. They keep spinning their wheels on the whole Maggie versus Negan. It's just like, it's like a pendulum that keeps swinging. Like, one moment she kind of trusts him, the other she goes back to hate. It's like, the moment she trusts him, then she remembers, oh my god, like, this is the guy that killed my husband. Like, there was one cool shot, after they leave the abandoned church, they leave Alden, there's a walker, and Negan takes the crowbar that he's been carrying around, and he smashes the walker and kills it. And there's a shot from the ground where they show the crowbar dripping blood and Maggie in the background of it, obviously. And then you hear, like, this little audio cue, which is Negan's theme, which is an homage to the night where he bashed Glenn's head in. So, there's little cool stuff like that's in the episode, but I just feel like that it's spinning its wheels on this plot where it's like, 1 second she trusts him, the other she doesn't, and she's all like she's been giving him that stare. It's like the same stare every time. Like, as soon as he looks her way, as soon as he says something, she looks his way. She kind of looks at him with, and I could take a picture of it. I'll probably throw it in the slideshow of pictures I use, where she just has, like, this stare. And the thing is, it's like, if it was one episode or two, like, but it's been going on for so long, though. I just feel like it's been so long, especially if you consider what I just said, that this was since the end of the season 8 finale into the beginning of season 9, where this whole Negan being a prisoner thing was happening ever since Rick made the call. So, I just it's frustrating that there's, like, I don't know where, there's just no indication of where they're going with it. Like, is Negan gonna do some amazing thing to change Maggie's mind? Is he going to, like, sacrifice him? Like, I feel like that's one of the only things. Like, Negan's going to sacrifice himself for Maggie. But the other thing is, like, he's still an opportunist. Like, he is turning into, like, obviously an anti-hero now, but he's still an opportunist who wants to, have his way and survive ultimately. So I don't feel like, I don't know. I mean, they could go that route, but, and then the other half of the plot is Carol, Magna, Kelly, and Rosita trying to corral horses. And then there's a very sad reveal at the end of the episode where Carol kills one of the horses so they can eat it because they don't have food. And it was pretty sad because at first, you see the horse lying down and Carol's kind of petting it, and then you see this bowl and you're like, is the bowl for water? And then you're like, oh no, the bowl is to empty the horse's blood into. That's disgusting. So, yeah, I mean, it's a sad moment that conveys how desperate they are to kind of survive, to get this community back to some type of viable point. But I don't know, I just feel like it's spinning its wheels a lot. And again, there's no incentive for us to worry about, oh my God, is Alexandria gonna collapse? Like there's no incentive for us to really be so worried about the state, because there's so many main characters that are there and they're not gonna die of fucking hunger after all this time. That's just not the route the show's gonna go. And then we also have the Commonwealth, which by the way was not in this episode at all. So it was just all of the Reaper stuff and all of the miscellaneous tasks to survive and get food. So, because we know the Commonwealth is the most advanced society we've ever seen in the show. I mean, we haven't seen it, but from everything we've seen with their structure of government and their processes, it seems like they have this super advanced system on lock. And you can only assume that they're thriving if they're wearing, clothes from the old world with suit and ties, and they're acting like, the world never went into an apocalypse, So that's the thing. It's like, oh, there's a food crisis. Well, gee, I'm pretty sure the Commonwealth probably has a good amount of food or protection against these Reapers, with the super soldiers with the giant, headgear and the body armor. I'm pretty sure those guys could take out these stupid Reapers. One firing squad could just light these dudes up. I don't care how many scythes and knives these dudes have. And that's what I'm thinking might happen. Like if the Reapers start to press down, Eugene tells the Commonwealth where Alexandria is. They march on it, and then they just take out the Reapers like lickety-split. That's what I'm thinking, because again, this is the problem. By introducing the Commonwealth, you're taking the show. You have almost two shows right now. You have the Commonwealth, where it's all this advanced stuff, like Yumiko's brother, oh my God, it's all stuff from the old world. It's taking how long the apocalypse has been, and it's clashing with it's putting us in this conundrum of, wow, are we really winding the clocks back from before the apocalypse to when there were governments and politics and bureaucrats and money that they value? They actually value money now, that's in circulation. It's actually a commodity. So, but that's clashing with this very, grudgy, dark, kind of Nightmare on Elm Street kind of horror thing you got going with these Reapers and pushing Alexandria to the brink just so the Commonwealth can save it in some way. Whether Eugene tells them or the group finds out where the Commonwealth is and they mass, emigrate there. It's just it takes away some of the oh my God factor of will they survive or will this happen? Or it's and these Reapers, I saw there was a brief preview for episode 4, so it looks like we're finally gonna get some context as to who the fucking Reapers are. There's actually some of them that talk and what they do. I saw the preview with Daryl stalking their base or whatever the fuck they're holed up. So I guess we're gonna learn something about these guys. But right now they're just very, I don't want to say cartoonish villains, but they're like a bland villain. It's just oh, these guys in masks with knives chasing. And that would have been fine early in the series, a season 1 or 2 thing. But think of all the groups that we've gone. The governor, the guys at Terminus, Negan and the Saviors. We've already had a group of marauders. Negan had hundreds of guys, outposts. That was your complex. That was that war that happened. I mean, you had humans versus humans. And it was just, I just felt like it was done a lot better, So, yeah, I mean, I don't mean to beat up on the episode. I really don't. But it's just frustrating to me that they just keep spinning their wheels. And it just feels like the bonus episodes, I said this in the last episode, it just feels like the bonus episodes never ended. You know, because the bonus episodes dealt with a lot of this. They introduced the Reapers. They introduced the concept of scavengers. For fuck's sake, I mean, remember that episode where Aaron and Gabriel play roulette with that crazy guy that's in that facility? They're looking for food there. Like, and I think they find some. They find some food. Like, some of the bonus episodes have already dealt with some of this stuff. They've already dealt with some of the stuff we're going over right now, and it just feels like the show is trying to pad this as much as possible until we flesh out the Commonwealth and we get to a point where they're going to be the dominating story, because it's going to happen. And it's just like, okay, like, how much of this of you know, because like you've got like two plot points right now, and I guess technically three. The Connie stuff, like, there's been no development on that, by the way. The whole Connie thing where Virgil found her. If you guys remember that at the end of season 10, like, we still don't know what's going on with that. And so yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kelly still thinks she's dead, so you'd think at some point they're gonna freaking resolve that. But yeah, it's just Alexandria trying not to starve and surviving these crazy Reapers that are just, at the moment, just seem like cartoonish villains who are just hunting, and, you know, they don't even, you know, it's attack first and ask questions later. And there's what would have been better, now that I'm thinking about it, it would have been much better if we had a flashback episode. Like, how about a flashback episode with Maggie in her old life, that she was in that time jump? Like, because we saw that with Michonne, and we saw that with Daryl. We got two different episodes that dealt with that 6-year gap, and we dealt with, you know, between the bonus episode and then I forget, I think it was Michonne's standalone, like her last episode before she left the show, and we dealt with like how they were handling that 6-year time jump. So why not show Maggie with the people that she finds along the road, in that home that she had with Georgie, and what she was trying to do? Then you can show like the early sightings of the Reapers, like what pissed them off. Was there something that pissed them off, or were they just assholes trying to scavenge supplies and kill people in the apocalypse? Was it just that simple? Is there more complexity to them? Like, that might be a good idea for an episode. You could have done, or that could have been one of the bonus episodes, honestly. You could have just had Maggie's flashback and then lead it up to the present where she gets the note about the Whispers and then heads back to Alexandria. Like, why? I think that would have been a great idea, because it would have bridged the stories, and there would have been more context to the stuff that's going on now. Like, we wouldn't have felt like the Reapers, like these dudes, just like from the last episode to the beginning of this episode, they're just walking down the street in this like random wooded territory that they've donned for themselves. I mean, again, keep in mind there's still walkers in the world, if we're left to believe, and we see a bunch in this episode, obviously. So these dudes are lingering out in the forest with the walkers. Keep in mind they're not the Whispers, who could just camouflage from the walkers and use them to their advantage. These guys are just, they're susceptible to the walkers as anyone in our group is. And so they're just walking down this lit street. Like, they don't even care. Like, for fuck's sake, like, all it would take is any of the characters with an AK-47 to just hold down the trigger and spray in a spray and just and take them out. Like, I mean, I guess that, you know, the argument is that it's been so many years that ammunition is scarce, obviously, but again, we know the Commonwealth has plenty of it. We've seen their soldiers, and so it's like, oh, well, there's some other society that's doing a whole hell of a lot better than what we're dealing with now, and a lot of my interest is, like, that's the thing. I was disappointed. Like, I wanted to meet Stephanie's character. I wanted to see Eugene's interactions with her, if they're actually in a relationship, you know? Yumiko's journey to find her brother. Eugene's journey to, you know, or not Eugene, Ezekiel. Ezekiel trying to, maybe find a cure for the cancer that he has. Like, it seems like there might be doctors in some sort of hospital that in the Commonwealth that could, maybe put him on chemo or something to prevent that. Like, you never know. And then obviously learning more about Princess's character and some of the quirks that she has about her. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of my review right now is it's leftover from last week. But it's frustrating, man. Like, I don't know if I've been frustrated with the show like this in a bit, because I didn't have problems with the show like people did with the whole Savior arc, because I was locked in with the whole Negan thing. Rick was my favorite character, so I loved following his journey. And then season 9, we had Rick, and then I never felt the absence of Rick because the Whisperers were such a great group of villains that I didn't miss Rick that much. I mean, I knew he would be in the movies, but then the Whispers, Alpha and Beta, and Angela Kang did such a great job with them. They were just amazing. They instantly filled the void of Rick. And they it was just such a great story. Obviously, some of it was adapted from the comics. A lot of it was improvised and improved. As I said, the Whisperers were very much improved in the show over the comics. But now that the Whisperers are gone, it doesn't seem like the show has much of a purpose. Well, let me rephrase that. It has half a purpose, because the next arc in the comics, the Commonwealth, is only being dealt with in half. That's like dealing with the Whisperers and then having like these like a half plot. Like, we're dealing with the Whisperers, but then we have this other group. It's like, I was confused when the previews came out and they showed the Reapers and then they showed the Commonwealth. I was like, where's our focus? Like, what's the focus here? Like, I don't understand. Like, both things are happening so far apart from each other. It almost feels like they're different shows. So, I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Like, I'm going to have to give, I'm giving this episode, I don't know, like 6.5. And that's a low score for what I've given episodes before. I was just so uninterested with this episode. And I'm doing this on a Monday night, and I had an opportunity to watch it Sunday when it was first available. And I'm binge watching another show right now. I'm actually binge watching Ozark right now. And I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm more intrigued by what's going on in that show, and I want to watch the next episode of that than I had interest in The Walking Dead. I thought that to myself. I was like, I'm not on the edge of my seat. Like, even though it left off on that cliffhanger with the Reapers attacking them, again, it's like, I don't know who these fucking Reapers are, what they're doing. Like, it looks like in episode 4, we're gonna have some context as to who they are, finally. But I don't know, man. These just feel all like bonus episodes. They feel like leftover bonus episodes. Just meandering tasks, corralling horses, looking for food, like these generic villains. It's just like, there's good stuff sprinkled in there, but it's just not enough for the full episode. And I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't. Like, the Commonwealth stuff is intriguing. Like, I want to know more about Mercer's character. He's a big character in the comics with his big red spacesuit thing, who I think Ezekiel makes a joke about that. So, like, I want to learn more about Mercer. They cast an actor who almost is, like, directly from the pages. Like, I don't know who the casting is of The Walking Dead, but they do such a good job picking, like, actors who they look at the comic character and they literally leap off the page, and it's that much of a translation. And Mercer fits that 100%. And so, like, again, like, I'm intrigued about that. All right, that was the cliffhanger of season 10. The cliffhanger wasn't the fucking Reapers. The season 10 finale cliffhanger with episode 16, not including the bonus episode, was the Commonwealth surrounding them at that freaking rail yard. And I just, I wanna focus on that. And I don't know, like, I feel like, I hope by the mid-season finale or episode 8 or whatever they're gonna do. Now I know, because it's a 24 season show, because with all the extended episodes to finish out the season. But I just, again, you also have to keep in mind, last point I'm gonna make, this is your last season. You have a limited amount of time to build out and flesh out the Commonwealth and what it is, who it is, and to give the proper time and dedication to it. Because you're on a clock now. You're timed, and we have one season with this interesting community, and that's it. And I just like the Whispers, I hope it's done better in the show, because Kirkman, again, I just feel like he didn't know what the hell he wanted to do with the Commonwealth. There was all this political bickering back and forth. Like, nothing happened. Like, there was just speeches after speeches. There was almost a civil war, but it didn't happen. And then, lo and behold, again, spoiler alert for comic readers, but lo and behold, finally the purpose of the Commonwealth was revealed, so that Kirkman could have this, surprise death for Rick, to be shot in his bed by some punk-ass fucking kid. It's like, really? At the end of the day, that was the purpose of the fucking Commonwealth? It's almost too iconic of a death not to translate into the show. I don't know who's going to get that death. It's got to be a major character, but, because there's no Rick. I mean, unless Rick somehow gets looped into the show from the CRM stuff. I mean, again, those are the things that are keeping me together with this fucking show. I gotta say. Like, the possibility that the CRM stuff could factor into the Commonwealth. That's, the CRM and the Commonwealth are huge. And I don't know how they haven't overlapped or heard of each other. So, maybe they have. I don't know. I'd like to fucking know that. I would like to know that. I'd like to have a scene of Pamela Milton or Mercer or Lance Hornsby or fucking Stephanie, any of these characters talking about this kind of stuff, rather than meandering through the woods looking for fucking food, which has been something that for many seasons in the past we've already done. And the show has indicated we're moving in a different direction, but it keeps dragging its feet. And it's pissing me off, man. So, it's just at what point? I gotta, suffer through these episodes just to get to the end here. And I'm not gonna stop watching. This is the last season. I'm in the home stretch. I've been watching this show since fucking 2014. I started with season 4. I've done vlogs for every episode. I've done reaction videos for a whole bunch of seasons. I'm not gonna stop, but, I'm frustrated by how they're handling this. I'm not gonna lie. And I really hope that they turn a page here and that they can make these episodes just kind of more interesting, again, I'm not discrediting the action scenes, the cinematography, Negan's jokes, but I'm getting worn out with some of the stuff in these episodes, man. I'm not looped in. I'm just not intrigued by how this is being handled. And I don't know, maybe is it because they're filming this differently because of the fucking pandemic? I don't know. It almost feels like it's filmed a little differently, and I'm not sure if that's intentional or what. I don't know. So, anyway, that's about all I gotta say. I gave the review. Let me know if you guys agree. I just want to make sure I'm not going crazy here in my opinions of how how the season started. I mean, we're 3 episodes in, and I'm bored out of my fucking mind. So I hope that we get something a little more fucking interesting, a little more meat on the damn bone, and hopefully they can turn shit around. So anyway, that's all I gotta say. I will see you guys later. Thank you. Peace out.